And here with us now is Mark Lauder, Director of Strategic Communications for the Trump 2020 campaign. Mark, good to see you.
Thanks for having me back.
Mark, you have to be relieved that last night there were no, send her back chants.
Absolutely. The president made it absolutely clear that he did not appreciate those and that he did not want that to continue. And I think the fact that, so many of the people listened and respected the president's wishes, it was great to be able to move on. But what a great crowd in Cincinnati. It just showed you the energy that people have in this country for our president. And I'm absolutely confident Ohio will be among those first states on the board for the president.
Hey, Mark, there's video going viral showing a Trump supporter beating up a protester after a rally. And just this week, we also saw a man wearing a MAGA hat get jumped in New York City. The political temperature is no doubt hot. People are angry. Does the president feel any sense of responsibility for this? I
don't think the president has responsibility in it, but I think what we as American citizens have to recognize is that even though we have political differences, we don't let those resort to violence. Our country was founded on being able to express your opinions freely, freedom of speech, but we should never resort to violence. We are still all Americans, and I think that would be the message that the president would want to remind everyone, that regardless of those differences, we are still all neighbors and we are still all Americans.
Congressman Hurd will not seek re-election in 2020. He, of course, is the only Republican African-American in the House. Mark, a lot of political operatives in the GOP are saying this is terrible news for the party. Are they right?
Well, I wouldn't read too much into this specific retirement. Congressman Hurd has served our country in many roles very admirably, but he also has taken some very difficult positions which are out of line with the Republicans, with the president, especially as it comes to areas of immigration and controlling our southern border. That puts him at odds with the majority of the party. He made the decision to step down, and I'm sure that the Republicans are going to have a great candidate there to be able to continue conservative leadership. And the thing that the people in that district have to recognize is that as we talk about things like border security, like keeping this economy going, standing up to socialism and just the big government takeover of healthcare, which the Democrats are proposing, you need more Republicans in Congress, not more Democrats, to stand up to that. And so it'll be a good race, but I'm sure we'll have a great candidate for it.
Mark, looking ahead to debate 2020, you might not agree with her policies, but Elizabeth Warren is growing in the polls. How would you feel with President Trump facing her in the general election?
Well, I think we look at all of these candidates about the same. They are taking on such liberal policies. I mean, to the fact we saw that on display on the debate stage in Detroit, where they literally spent the first 30 minutes both nights of debating about how quickly to take away people's health care. And that's big government, socialist takeover of the healthcare industry, replacing your Blue Cross Blue Shield and Aetna and United Healthcare card with a government card. And I don't like going to the DMV to get my license renewed. I certainly don't want to wait in line and have some bureaucrat tell me when and what kind of health care I can get.
The narrative that frontrunner Joe Biden is a centrist, is a moderate. How does the Trump orbit see Joe Biden?
Well, that's absolutely a myth. There's no reality to that. We've got to remember that Joe Biden voted for NAFTA, which shipped 1 million manufacturing jobs overseas. He was actually the lead cheerleader for TPP during the last administration, which would have shipped even more manufacturing jobs overseas. And so when you look at this time and time again, the flip-flop on the Hyde Amendment, Joe Biden for 40 years opposed taxpayer-funded abortion, and now because of the radical shift of the Democrat Party, he now supports taxpayers footing the bill for people to get abortions. And it's just out of touch with what the American people believe. And I think as more and more people find out about his record and his current flip-flops, I think it's just going to show that he's just another liberal like the rest of the party.
Well, Mark's sticking with Biden. How would you label Joe Biden?
I would label Joe Biden as currently just struggling, trying to figure out what the new Democrat Party wants.
Mark Lauder with Trump's 2020 campaign. Thank you so much for joining us, sir.